When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and we are full spring in the summer of heat. I'm going to tell you right now, my next guest, Laura Enzor, that's joining us today, is also from the beautiful sunny Arizona, and it is hot. It is hot here. I think it even hit triple digits this last weekend. So I've been out in the heat a lot. Being in a pool is kind of the only way to do it these times in Arizona. And we are enjoying the sun for sure. And we hope wherever you are in the world listening to this, that you're enjoying this time of your life and this season, because today we're jumping into repurposing your power in midlife. Laura Enzor is a soul alignment coach. This is going to be so much fun. I don't think we talk enough about the soul. And if you're in midlife, this is for you today. If you're younger than midlife and you have a mom in midlife, stay on and listen, because you're going to want to hear what Laura has to say. But before we get to Laura, I want to thank the sponsor of today's show, Beyond Basil Mobile Pizzeria. Imagine if your wedding and private catered event was catered by a luxurious trailer equipped with wholesome ingredients and lots of TLC and pizza oven imported from Italy. Our goal at Beyond Basil is to make the best pizza you've ever had. And in fact, at the last event, there was 5 thumbs up and we beat out Grimaldi. So just saying, I love this company because it's owned by myself and my husband and 2 of our children. And we love to cater businesses in Arizona. We know how to do this, and your best pizza experience is our highest priority. So be sure to contact us on Instagram and give us a follow for some yummy photos at Beyond Basil Pizza, or you can find us online at Beyond Basil Pizza, beyondbasilmobilepizzeria.com. It's easy to plan your next event with us. We have got you covered. And today, Laura Enzor has you covered. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a Lyme disease butt kicker, former fitness pro. She would have loved the CrossFit gym we were at on Monday. It was so awesome. And a modern dancer turned reinvention coach for women. So she does soul alignment and works with women in midlife. So for years, her life brimmed with the exciting but often exhausting to-dos that came with being a mom, fitness pro, and supportive wife, enabling her to keep her unacknowledged childhood trauma to a dull hum. So today she's now leveraging her experience and reinvention coaching practices to help women repurpose their power in midlife and evolve unhindered by anyone's expectation. Her latest creation, which I was a huge part of, the birth of it, I should say, AffirMotion, a mind, body, spirit workshop that merges the magic of affirmations with the power of movement to help women connect, deepen, imprint, and manifest their highest positive vibrations. Laura, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for the introduction.
And I love it because it says you've never felt more excited and purposeful.
Yes.
Why is that? What has happened? What has happened? I mean, besides what I just talked about, what personally for you inside makes you feel this is the time in your life where you've never felt more excited and purposeful?
It's such an interesting question because it's been a journey for me. And I'm going to say it's been a few years of a journey, right? Or at least 4 or 5. And I had some interrupted months when I started my personal growth journey, but it's due to that. So, I kind of came into really getting into transformation when I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And it kind of threw me out of alignment. for lack of a better word, but it's the truth. I felt misaligned. I felt I didn't know who I was without the daily activities that I used to do that would define me.
Yeah.
So without all of that, I was kind of swimming in, helplessness, hopelessness, really bad mindset. And, I reached out to a life coach because I thought, you know what? I know I don't need a therapist. Like, I know this is like me, not really being able to just go that next step. Like, I can't get out of this muck I'm in. And I've kind of was angry because I never was like that before. Like, I always was pretty resilient, could push myself through just about anything. But this was different. And my experience with midlife women is this is the time when all those different situations land in our lap, right?
Yeah.
The things we don't expect, we couldn't have predicted. And we weren't inviting into our life, right?
I love that.
It could be like, the unexpected divorce or, as in my case, the unexpected illness, right? That came upon me. And so it made me had to revisit and kind of look deeper inside as like, how was I living my life? How did I get here? Because I didn't think it was fair. I was like the fittest person I knew who was sick. And I loved being a fitness instructor. I loved that job. I loved that title. I loved getting to the gym every day. I could be there 3-4 hours. People thought I was nuts, but it was something that I identified with. So when I started to go through breakthrough shadow coaching, it started to kind of address all of those issues that I wasn't in touch with. Right. Like all of the hidden beliefs that were kind of clogging, I couldn't see anything different. It was like, no, this is how it is. And it took me a while to undo like the first layer, I'll call it. And I started to feel lighter, right? I started to feel like, wow, I can cope with my illness better. Now, I was still lying around on the couch. I was still, doing all my therapies, lining up my tinctures, and for just moving here to Arizona, that was tough because I wasn't out meeting friends, from the get-go. So add that on top of being isolated. But I would say that little beginning got me the taste of transformation. I ended up being certified. I didn't even plan on being a coach. Like I was just doing it for myself. But I took one-on-one coaching, and then I threw myself into the Institute and took all their courses and got my certification. But I then proceeded to be sick with another Epstein-Barr virus for a year and slept. So that's why I say my journey has not been like total trajectory up. It's been a little up and down. And once I recovered from that, I started to do my website. And I really was at a loss for how to market myself as a coach. That part wasn't taught to me in my first certification. So I found Reinvention coaching through another friend who jumped in. And I think it was the best decision I ever made for myself, because through all of the courses that I've taken or the certifications that I now have, it has, it's brought me to be Lyme disease free. I mean, like, I can't even how does that happen? And a lot of it was the mindset. A lot of it was, the things I'm saying to myself, my outlook for my future. So when all of those, lined up to something that I could look at my future and say, wow, I like how it looks. I'm excited about the AffirMotion workshop. I'm really excited about the offerings I now have to offer all of my new clients, so it's really, I like to say that I offer a personalized transformation process, because you have to start in Reinvention coaching. It's like the baseline, but then we have worthy coaching, we have boundary coaching. And then will be offering group coaching. So I've got a lot of different things that I'll be probably by the group will probably not come till fall, but I have a lot of different ways for people to continue in their transformation, because I know that's what worked for me. Like that was the magic bullet. Like I really needed to get underneath the rock, so to speak, get underneath and find out what's living under there and what was misaligned.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that, because the identity you talked about identity, and identity has a lot to do with who we believe we are. And because the identity of being that personal trainer, and it was who you were. And most of the time through our career, we become what we were. That I did the same thing when I left corporate America and struggled with my worth based on, well, that was what I was worth. That was what I was paid. Yeah. And if anything takes you out of that, I would imagine mothers in midlife go through issues with being an empty nester. Empty nester syndrome is real. And when a mom has all of her babies leave the home, all of a sudden she feels like, well, what is my use anymore? My identity, for me being a mother isn't there anymore. And so that is something that I think is real and we need to be addressing for sure. So, so when you talk about repurposing your power in midlife, Laura, are you finding that mothers are taking or women in general are taking the power of what they've used over the past 40 years, 50 years, and now they just need to take that and repurpose it? Have they been giving it away for many years and now it's time to harness it and take it back? What do we talk about when it means repurpose your power?
Yes. Very, good point to bring out, because we start in life with our, the power that we believe we have. And as most of us, the nurturers, the moms and all of the females in the world we give, we nurture, we give, and we give a lot. And we forget, a lot of us, I won't say all of us, right? But most of us give more than we give back to ourselves. And this is a big problem. And so a lot of, when women come into my coaching program, sometimes they've never even thought about what they want, what they need, what they think about their future. They've always piggybacked on like someone else's dream. And I know for a fact that was kind of part of my thing. Like while I was getting to the gym and I was, putting in my time to be healthy, I also was subjugating my needs to, my husband's career moved us somewhere else. I'd think about, the opportunity it was for him, and my daughter, but I would never consider the opportunity for me. I was just the one that had to get everybody settled, but it was a nice opportunity to see the world. So I would rationalize why it was okay to give up, on some of my deepest desires, right? Some of my dreams, which was to further my fitness career, in different ways, like create a video, maybe have my own boutique, workout salon. But it never quite happened for me. So I really do understand how it happens in life. And most of us would never do it any different because we don't know any different. Yeah. We couldn't have done it different. And that's the eye-opening thing when I take people through Reinvention is it's like, nope, now now we can begin again. And that's where the repurpose is, right? So I'm going to take now what I truly know about myself and not what I think I know about myself and put it into action. Yeah. And I think that's what's like swimming around in my heart, that feeling of that I am in full control. And when I convey that, to my husband, to, my family, my own needs, I find out that it's not so hard, it's not so hard.
It's simple. That's a simple thing that we're talking about today. And it's the fancy word to say repurpose your power in midlife. We're talking about, this is midlife. You still have half your life to live. I just want to remind the ladies out there and gentlemen that are listening, you still have half of your life to live. If you still have half your life to live, don't waste it thinking, oh, now it's just downhill from here, right? So now I'm getting older. I couldn't possibly, my husband and I were in our 40s and 50s when we got our first degree black belts. You know, go on that Alaskan cruise, go on that hike of Machu Picchu, go do the things that you've desired to do your whole life. And one of the biggest things that you said was, I started sharing my opinion and my views and my needs. And communicating that to the people around you in your family. I have had to do that with my own children. We have to communicate our needs. It's not always just about their needs, right? Because we want to raise our daughters to make sure that they're taking care of their needs and in their relationships and not becoming last to the children and their husband, right? We want them to be communicating their needs.
Yeah. And what a concept that when we started from the beginning with our, female daughters, that they learned to put themselves first. And it doesn't mean that you put other people last. It's like, it's not an either or, it's an and also,
And
yeah. Yeah. So, and it's a hard concept it was a hard concept for me to let go of, and that's why I think that's the beauty of having a coach, and like you as a business coach, you help people step into their highest, goals and aspirations in their business. And, in a soul alignment situation, I'm helping people understand themselves. Like we check in on, how they show up every day. Right? Like, what does that look like? And then we go from there. And there's all these little, touch points that, they have to reflect on. And, I find that most people say to me like, gosh, I never took the time to think about that. I'm like, yeah, it's called self-reflection. And, it's really powerful. And, so we teach a lot of tools too. We have breath work. We have, what we call it like a process where, we're not having a conversation back and forth where they're retrieving their own information. And so I really love the style of this coaching. And I found it was fabulous, just what I needed.
So. Yeah, that makes total sense. So in this type of a soul alignment that a woman would do in midlife that you would work with, she's really understanding deep down who she is today, her needs, her wants, her desires, the things that light her up, so that she can, like you, never feel more excited and purposeful about what she's doing in her life, right? And just be lit up every day. We talk about that on this podcast every single episode. This is about designing the life that you want to live and not living it by default, because you really don't have a choice. It's going to happen. Tomorrow's going to happen, whether you like it or not. The sun's going to set and the sun's going to rise. So therefore, you have a choice as to how you want to approach your life and design it. Why wouldn't you design it for you to be happy? Why wouldn't you design it for you to feel like your needs are met, for you to be joyful, for you to have the things that you want? Why wouldn't we design our life that way? Where do you think some women get stuck?
Yeah, exactly. I think that I think for the most part, feel like, well, what they're feeling isn't that valid. So they don't want to talk about it. Like it's not that big of a deal. And I'm here to say it is a big deal, because if mama isn't happy, no one's happy. Right. It just, and when you fill yourself up, and it spills out to everybody else. So it's kind of like, you need that new mindset, because the mindset that got you here. And if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed, not really in the right place, misaligned, whatever words you use to describe it, you need a different mindset to get you into the next half of your life. The same old one won't work because it's not working now. And, that's like the thing you need to get, to understand, is that it's all about that. It's all about your mindset and your heart set working together. And if it's not working now, just some fine tuning and to go with it, go through it with someone. I mean, who doesn't hold themselves accountable if you're working with somebody? I mean, you will hold yourself accountable. If you don't, if you think you're going to do it yourself, and I've tried, in the past, and I, read the book, and then I'd start and a week would go by and I'd be doing my journaling and the whole thing. And then I go back to all my old habits. Right. I mean, because it's autopilot habits that we're trying to clear away. So, and it's like if people want a different life, you have to start making different choices. It's as simple as that. And I think that the work that I do with people, we do step by step, like bite-sized action steps, right? We're not like jumping to the big win right away, because you miss a lot of the journey, and there's, my mentor used to say, there's juice in the journey, right?
Oh yeah, I realized
so
that.
it's like, you don't want to miss that part of it, because that's the part that makes you feel really valued and worthy and all of that you got yourself from here to there. And you went through all these steps.
Yeah.
Believe me, I even through, it's always a constant process, right? So, you're never quite there, right? But you're better than you were yesterday, when you're in a process, right? When you have awareness.
We're always growing and learning. And I remember when I used to run half marathons and was really into running and doing all of that, I was always for the goal of the finish line and how fast I could do it and my time. And then one year, about 6 years after I stopped running, my brother-in-law asked me, I was still in shape. I was working out. I had gotten my black belt by then, and he was running a half marathon in 2 days. And I said, I'll go with you. And I signed up online. I'm not kidding. And I ran this half marathon. No, I didn't do any prep work of training, and I'm not going to recommend that anyone does that, because I literally had a golf cart take me to my car because I couldn't walk once I passed the finish line and stopped running. But I will tell you this, the juice is so in the journey, because I never got to watch all of the other people and pay attention to the journey, because I was so focused on the end goal when I used to be a runner. And then when I wasn't a runner and ran the half marathon, I had a different mindset going into the run. I was there for my brother-in-law. It didn't matter how fast I ran. I just wanted to finish it before it was over. And people would ask us, is this your first one? We're like, no, we've each ran like 6 of these. It's no big deal, Yeah. Well, we were so slow. We were not moving very fast, but we got to see marathoners lap us. And I was just like, this was so much fun to just enjoy the people and be in the experiment and in the moment, instead of so focused on my time, making sure I don't slow down in the water, water stations, and just keep running and, be so focused. I missed the juice in the journey. And that was my own personal experience. And so I'm here to, just like Laura is, I really want to encourage each one of you to enjoy the journey of what we call life. Like, did you enjoy the weekend, or were you too busy working? I know women that are like, oh, I had so much to do. I just sat at my computer. I'm like, well, that sucks. There's no way I did that. I went to a movie and had, watched some movies at home and spent time with some grandkids, and I just had a great time. And so I just question, are we living our lives really to the fullest that we can, in purpose, on purpose, with not giving our power away? But I like it when you say, we're actually taking our power back when we make decisions about our needs and they're validated. Like, this is important. This is my need. It's what I want in my life. Why would you go your entire life and not get what you want? Why would you give that power away to somebody else?
Right. The example I use a lot for women are like, when you go to a restaurant and, your boyfriend or the husband wants to order, the pizza, but, you kind of have an allergy to dairy. You don't want to really eat gluten, but they're all excited about the pizza. Do you do it anyways, just to please them, And then you do that times 100 and you start feeling resentful. And that, to me, is the biggest stopping point for women, because we think we shouldn't be angry about a situation, or we shouldn't state our needs. And so instead we push it down, and then we put a smile on our face and we agree to do what we don't really want to do. And then we think we got it by in the moment, and we might, go in our room and scream or like be mad or say something. And, it can be a cycle for a lot of women, right? Because you feel that you don't want to, rock the boat, and make the person mad and, step into dangerous territory and, be called something, like, oh, you're always so, a worrywart, or, so we start avoiding life. And I think that's what starts to happen with women. You start to avoid what's really going on, and you try and rationalize that it's going to change, or you hope, wish, and want, like the relationship's going to get better, or, something's going to drop in your lap and your life's going to be wonderful. And the sitting and waiting and feeling resentful, while maybe your spouse is out there, playing golf and having fun, and, you're not, and you feel a little resentful, and I think it's those feelings that are the stoppers for women. Yeah. It takes probably, like what happened to me, a chronic illness, like my body screaming, Laura, slow down, like stop wearing the superwoman cape, stop trying to please everyone, stop trying to be the superwoman, and that's what I can thank my Lyme disease for, right? Because it finally taught me how to really take care of myself, because I had to say no. Nope, I can't do that. I had to say no to so many things that I didn't really want to say no to, but it was in my best interest, for my health. So I kind of learned it through what happened to me. And I think sometimes people are almost on the verge of something, going awry, or a loss triggers a deep wound in you and you can't get out of it. Or so there's so many different situations that, people reach out to a life coach. It doesn't have to be just one thing. It doesn't have to be a disaster, but it can be like, I'm feeling not in control of my life. And I want more control. I want to be able to, walk in with confidence and, whatever it is that they're desiring. And it's such a special, sacred time when you work with a coach, because it's all about you, right? Yeah. All about the client the whole time. And very rare do people get that kind of attention. Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. And I highly recommend it. I've had so many coaches over my lifetime, and still do. And I highly recommend them in every area, even though I think I eat really, really well and I know how to work out, and I've been a certified personal trainer and I have a black belt, and I could go on and on and on. I still have a health coach. Because they teach me about the health of inside my body and hormones and supplements and all these things I don't know. That's why. And I've never, just like you, I thought about this last night, Laura, when I went to sleep. I've never felt healthier inside my body with my health than I do now. I don't have stomach upsets. I don't have any of those things I used to have in the past, or cramps, or I don't have any of that anymore. And I just feel my body feels healthy, like naturally healthy. Finally. So I know, Laura, so many individuals right now are like, how do I connect with Laura? And we have all of your links at their fingertips. They can find you on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, your website at lauraenzor.com.
Yes.
And then you also have a Reinvention rhythm sign up. What is that? So talk
that to me. Is, it's going to be kind of a workbook, kind of a guide that is going to take you through 3 different areas to really think deeply through, to help you identify what might be really blocking you in your life, like what might be the culprit, just so you can get kind of an idea of the digging that we would do together. You get a kind of a sample of it. And then it kind of makes the wheels turn in the head, like, oh yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's good. So they can download that.
Yes.
What is the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, I'd love it if they could just reach out on social, like on LinkedIn, send me a DM. I'm Laura Enzor, Reinvention coach there. And let me know if that you saw this, and follow me for more, information. I post regularly, and also on Instagram. And I'm Laura Enzor, life coach.
Yeah. You get to see all of Laura's life on Instagram. That's what I love about it. You get to, she's like I do. It's like my business and my life is one life. So you see all my kids, you see all my businesses, you see my grandkids, you get the whole gamut of my life on Instagram. And so that's why I do it. Everything I do with coaching to, taking them out to having a good time with my grandkids, to soccer games, to whatever. So Laura, we're so thankful that you joined us today. And some of the great nuggets you shared really is about, we are halfway in midlife. You still have so much life to live, and having your power work for you, not giving it away, but, having your needs met is the biggest thing that I think I got out of this, is making sure your needs are met. So Laura, thank you for joining us today on
Thank you.
on Take the Leap. And I want to just remind all of our listeners, you're the only you that's ever been, you're the only you that's ever going to be. So why not take your life, design it the way you want it, and make sure you're getting your needs met, your wants met, you're doing the things you want to do. If you want to go to London before the day you die, plan a trip and go to London, whether anyone else wants to go with you or not. I went to the movies by myself over the weekend because that's the movie I wanted to see. And I didn't even ask if anyone else wanted to go. I just went. I sat down to a couple and they said, "Are you here alone?" I'm like, "I am. I sure am. And I am so happy to be here right now. You have no idea." So you do things that you want to do. You don't have to wait for other people to say it's okay or to join you. Go do those fun things that you want to do, even if that's taking a trip by yourself, right? Enjoy the life you're given to its fullest, because this is your one life. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Laura, for being with us.
Thanks,
Until
Colleen.
next time, for all of you, be you and be strong. We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.